Hi, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. We're tracking two areas of high pressure over the next week. The first one is around the country right now, and the second one comes in next Monday. In between the two, westerly winds are coming back, and they'll be fairly mild, but they could get a little windy at times as well. Let's kick off with the animated wind map for Tuesday. We've got the animations working again. We saw foggy areas around Auckland and Waikato for the second day. We saw light frost in parts of Canterbury, and we've seen a small area of low pressure just off the Northland coast, which has brought a little bit of rain into the drought zone, which is good news. You can see the building westerlies though, classic autumn setup. And they'll help lift up the temperatures on Wednesday. They'll be above normal in a number of areas, although to be honest, the areas you see in white and with no colouring, they're around about average. It's the areas in yellow, orange and red that'll be a few degrees above normal, and the areas in red several degrees, but to be honest with you, the areas in red are mostly up in the mountains and ranges. But we do have a warmer Wednesday, and that's because of the slightly warmer westerly winds that are developing. They're not going to be very strong on Wednesday, but they will be around, picking up as the day goes on, as that low moves closer to the South Island. We do have high pressure still lingering, that's stretching out over the North Island, so with light winds, you'll get morning cloud again and probably some fog patches once more in those same places. Into Thursday, the winds pick up further as that low gets closer. Now, the low is nothing like the one we saw at the start of last week, which caused that damage in Wellington with the storm surge. That had central air pressure down around 950 hectopascals. This one's 998, basically a 1000, so nowhere near as stormy, but it's enough to bring in the winds, and they'll get a bit stronger. Good news, we might see some downpours around the drought zones of the north, so my fingers are crossed for you. Here are the winds for Thursday. The areas in red are the areas that will be seeing gale force gusts. So that's mostly up in the mountains and ranges, because when you get further out around, say, Christchurch, the winds don't look too bad. Wellington, they look gusty, but not up to gale force, or at least not much over it, and fairly light winds in many other places. So it's really through the Southern Alps and down around Fiordland where no one lives. Let's get through to Friday, and we've got a bit of a cooler change on Friday. Southwest winds blowing through, bit of a temperature drop in some areas and a few showers around, nothing too major. The airflow a little bit cooler, even though it looks like a nor'wester. If you track the origins, it's still actually coming from south of Australia. Now let's head in towards the weekend. Saturday's an important day. We've got light winds in the very north of the country, but the further south you go, the windier those westerlies get. Rain on the west coast with showers further up around Westport and Greymouth. Dry for Canterbury, dry for most of the North Island, just a couple of isolated showers for you, and a bit of patchy shower activity down around Southland as well. And our final map for Sunday, keep in mind it's a long weekend, and I know we've been making a few jokes about the weekends not really feeling like weekends because of the lockdown, but of course with us going back to level 3 on Tuesday, there will be a bit of a feeling that we are having a long weekend because we're still sort of stuck in the level 4 lockdown until then. So high pressure is rolling in on Sunday. Now you'll still get a bit of a southwest breeze around the Auckland area and around Taranaki, and a bit of a shower or two maybe around Wairarapa. Otherwise, I think it'll be mostly dry for you. And by Monday, we don't have the map for it just yet, but that high is rolling in. And that's all from me. Join us again tomorrow. We'll have a forecast for the whole long weekend and probably taking a look at the start of May that's coming up around the corner. That's all from me for today.